was going to say, we need her and her pen.
Oh, yeah.
It's ready.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Today is January 12th, 2020. We need her and her pen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. All right. We are good to go.
We're good. Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Today is January 12th, 2021. This is the Paul Sawyer Public Library Board of Trustees regular monthly meeting. It's 5:33 p.m. and I will ask our secretary, Ms. Carolyn Lynch, to please take attendance. And we'll call this meeting to order. And not necessarily in that order. Okay. Let me get to the agenda because I'm just clicking back and forth between things. Sorry about that. Okay, let's get back to the agenda and I will take a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
I move that we approve the agenda as submitted.
I'll second.
Thank you, Bob. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I believe everybody got a copy of the minutes from our December meeting. Take a minute to review them if you haven't, and then we'll entertain a motion to adopt the minutes.
I have reviewed them and I'll move to approve them.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? If not, we'll take a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries unanimously as well. Next is the treasurer's report.
Okay, Gene sent out the updated treasurer's report, so that's what I'll go over here. Beginning on December 1, we had $152,034.96 in the operating account. There were deposits in December of $2,373,889.84, which of course the majority was tax receipts. There was a transfer to the Whitaker Bank savings account from this operating account. We're talking about the operating account now of $1,743,650.90, and checks written and payments of $381,896.45. And that resulted in an ending balance on December 31, 2020 of $400,377.45. Other topics moving on down the report, the savings account status at the beginning of December, we had $62,288.51. And then the aforementioned transfer from the operating account of $1,743,650.90 brought the savings account balance at the end of December to $1,805,939.41. We have other accounts here. We have the honor and remembrance account, $23,321.17. The Baldry account at Whitaker Bank, $10,000. And you'll see a First Financial Bank CD of $109,260.18, which Gene will address in just a second. I want to go ahead and go through the report here. Those other accounts total $142,535. Below that it references the line of credit, which we had. There's a zero balance on that now. Of course, when the tax receipts came in, the small balance we had on the line of credit at West Banco was paid down. So our total funds as the end of December, $2,348,898.21. There's been no deposit activity so far in January. I understand we expect additional tax receipts on or after the 15th. But additional activity and projected activity in the account in January would include electronic fund transfers and then checks which remain to be paid. Those amounts respectively were $9,169.75 and $50,015.53. And then we have estimated payroll expenses, retirement payments, life insurance, and other items. And that's all detailed to project our projected balance at the end of January, which after taking those items into account will be $127,060.47. So that's the detail on that. We have the revenue and expenditure report, which is attached to that. Statistics report, monthly credit card summary, list of checks to be signed, et cetera. So I think all in all, pretty routine. But Gene, do you want to address this First Financial Bank CD?
Yes. As we're working through the audit, or working with the auditor for this year's audit, they brought to our attention this CD that we have at First Financial for $109,000. Neither Valerie nor I were aware that it existed. There was an entry in QuickBooks that said CD, but there was no account number and really no other information attached to it. So we checked with First Federal first because we have had an account there, but it was not there. It is indeed at First Financial. And it appears to be the remainder of some other funds that were deposited there at First Financial dating back to 2008. It looks as though that account was built up over the years until about 2014. And then most of the money was moved into Whitaker Bank or purchasing other CDs. And then there was a journal entry, a correction of 250,000. And I have this all in an Excel spreadsheet Excel sheet that I would be happy to share with you. But the remainder is $109,000. Yes, $109,000 in change. We have been collecting interest on that since 2017. They had our old address, the 305 Wapping Street address. And so we never received those statements. And that's what prompted the auditor. He wanted the statements to include in the audit, and we didn't have them. And that's when we started looking. So where they were going, we don't know. But that's been corrected. And we now know that we have $109,000 in a CD at First Financial. So that's all I can tell you right now. It's obviously been there for a while. And
Is First Financial a local bank?
it's on the East-West connector. Yeah.
It used to be Main Source and used to be Founders, if you go back far enough, up there by, by the old Elder Beerman, now Hollis.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank
That's
you,
good
Bob.
news.
I wasn't aware of its history, but I did manage to find it when I went to pick up the statements through the drive-through. So
It's a good surprise.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a mystery, but at least we have $109,000 we didn't know we had.
Yeah.
I don't know if this would explain it, but at one point we set aside a certain amount of money each year that we were calling our building for any maintenance and that type of thing. We did that for a few years, and I don't know if we actually put it into I don't know if we set it aside in any special way. I mean, that's one possibility. And the other is, we had some donations to some very specific money that was donated when the new building was being constructed originally. Could that be one of the funds? That's the only two things I can think of it could possibly be.
We can't find any more detail than that.
Okay.
We can dig around, and maybe the auditor has some record of that going back. I don't know why they didn't ask us about it last year when they did the audit. We might have discovered it then, but it somehow didn't come up. So we might explore that further with him. But as far as from what we have access to in the records that we have, QuickBooks and primarily, that's all that we can tell, is that it was a remainder that was probably overlooked, and it might have been in changing personnel between Jane and Jessica, because that's about the time that it seems to have fallen off the reporting. So,
In personal taxes, if something like that shows up, you would have to pay taxes, maybe, or penalties. There's anything that we're liable for, because it was not, I guess, for a better word, declared, and it just showed up. So do we owe taxes or anything on that?
I don't think that we do. No.
On the interest, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We don't pay any taxes if
Yeah.
it was an individual, you're
All
right.
right.
Yeah.
Well, it's good news.
I think that if we can keep that as an emergency fund or something like that, that would be a really wonderful thing to do, and maybe add to it as we can as we go. But we may want to see about liquidating that and putting it in a different bank too. I don't know, but at least it's there. And I'm not sure what the terms of the CD are either. We don't have any record of it. So I'm going to contact First Financial and see if they can help us with the terms of the CD as it is right now.
Well, that's good. And we do need to look at investment options on it. And Mary Lynn mentioned that we did have an account that we were contributing to for building maintenance. You would call it that, or purchasing fund or whatever. And that's sort of been in the back of my mind since we exhausted all the funds, or we thought we exhausted all the funds when we built the addition. So I like that idea of kind of tentatively making that an option. So I believe that's all I have with the treasurer's report.
Good. Does anybody want to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
I'll make the motion to accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second.
Any further discussion or questions for Bob or Jean? Okay, all in favor say aye.
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 Jean, we're moving on to the director's report if you're ready.
I hope you've all had a chance to look at that. I won't go into too much detail about each of those aspects, just to say that I think the staff is doing a really good job at trying to keep people engaged, keeping people coming in, and offering good content virtually. So some things are more successful than others, but I think that we've done the best that we can to keep folks engaged with us as we've been shut down due to COVID. So I did want to tell you that, or point out that Charles Luttrell started as our new facility manager yesterday, and he's already made a difference. So, he has discovered how to regulate the air in the river room so that it is not so noisy.
Good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. You can hear in there now.
Yeah.
So
Can't wait to be in that room and hear.
yes, it's just amazing. So, and there are some other things that he's pointed out that he's going to be able to make a difference for us right away. So I think he's going to be a great addition, and I'm anxious for you to see him and interact with him. He's happy to be here too. So that's kind of nice to have that as well. The audit is not done yet. We were hoping it would be finished, but they keep finding things that they are questioning Valerie about. So I can't give you a date when I think that might be ending. I said in December, they told us it might be by the end of the month, but I'm not making that prediction right now. So I hope it could be by the end of January and that they might be able to present in February, but I'm not sure we've not heard that confirmed from them yet. So, but they are continuing to work on it, which is a good thing.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, Jean. Based on the email that I got, I had to do a questionnaire for the audit. It looks like, although we're still with Charles T. Mitchell, that we do have a new accountant who's doing the audit. So we're getting fresh eyes this year, which is always a good thing.
Yes. Thank you, Natalie. I think that's true. And I think it's worth the extra time that they might be taking with it. So
Who is the new individual?
his name is Logan. I don't know what
Logan Klaus.
Oh, that's Logan Klaus. Yeah, that's who it is. Okay. All right. Jim Klaus's son. So.
That's what I figured, yeah.
Okay, the KPLA Advocacy Committee met last week, and we decided not to do a legislative day or an advocacy day at the legislature, since we didn't see any way that they would probably allow us to do it in person. And virtual, we just didn't think that they would have time to do a virtual meetings while they're so concentrated on passing the budget and then working with the other bills that they have lined up to take care of. So we're going to make a concerted effort to try to meet in person locally. And I'm going to see if we can make that happen before they go back into session here in Frankfurt. But if we can't do it in person before then, we're going to make an effort. I'll make an effort to do that once the session is over. But the important thing right now is, again, that local contact, and that there really, at this point, there aren't any bills that have been registered that affect libraries directly. We don't have anything on our radar that we need to be overly concerned about at this point. The lobbyist for the advocacy committee is keeping an eye on that, and we'll be alerted if there's something that we do need to act on. But right now, they're anticipating that the legislature's focus will be elsewhere rather than libraries, which is a good thing, I think, maybe at this point. So, Mary Lynn,
I do think it's a really good idea to start talking to, we have a new senator and a new representative. So I think it's really good to make the contact and invite them to the library whenever you can. So.
And then the two things I really wanted your input on are what we do with COVID. And we talked about reopening specifically. I talked about trying to open next week, but with the cases the way they are, and I just got the governor's report for today, there were more than 3,000 cases that were reported today. And they're anticipating that those numbers, that's the fourth highest Tuesday that we've had since reporting started. So they're anticipating that the numbers are going to stay high probably over the next week, and then hoping for a significant, or at least even a plateau and a downturn in the number of cases. So I would like to broach the idea of not opening to the public until the 25th of January instead of trying to do it next week. I'm concerned about the activity in the community. So, and keeping our customers and our staff safe, maybe for another week until we can look at it. So.
Yeah.
And Jean, just to confirm, the library will be.
I think I'm fine with that. I know I talked to a local doctor, pediatrician, and he says that half of the patients that come into his office are test positive, and they have absolutely no symptoms. And I said, well, how do you know they're positive? He says, just as a standard practice, they're just testing everyone that comes in. And so he's really concerned about the numbers in our community as well, because there's such an asymptomatic population here.
And Natalie, I think you were going to ask about opening to the in-person service, and we would keep curbside the way that it is, and we would delay opening to in-person until the week of the 25th.
Well, honestly, I don't know why we wouldn't just delay it until February 1st.
February, yeah.
It's a Monday.
That's what I was thinking.
First.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
what I was thinking.
I'm fine with that. I know that there are other libraries in the area that are planning on February 1st. Bourbon County is looking at February 1st. I think Anderson and Scott County are both closed. They're only doing curbside and really not anticipating opening yet. So February 1st would be fine with me.
Yeah, and of course, it's as the time gets closer, it'll, we can, but I don't see any reason to push for the 25th when we haven't seen things start to get better yet.
Okay,
And,
Right.
there's a chance, based on the health department rough estimates that they start vaccinating school employees and staff in February. So it just gets us a little closer to more people being vaccinated and
it does.
thing.
Okay. I'm happy with that. So I think it feels like the prudent course to take. So thank you for your support with that.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
that's
does
all.
anybody have any other questions for, any questions at all for Jean and about the director's report? Okay, we'll move on to committee reports then. The only one I know that has met is long range. Marilyn, you want to start us there?
Yes, the long range committee has actually met and looked at our strategic plan as we're required to, and as we will do twice a year. This first meeting, I know it's been very frustrating because of COVID. So there have been some things that have slowed down, but I think the most promising thing that I wanted to share with the board is they are really working on this marketing plan. They've identified certain segments that they want to reach, and they've got software that will help them kind of zero in on those different populations to see how best to reach them, how best to market them. So I think they put together, it's not complete, but it looks like a really good marketing plan. So just wanted to share that with you. And the other goals or action items we had set, they're working on. Some of them are behind because of COVID for obvious reasons, but I think they're doing a great job. And I think the committee was pleased with the overall efforts on the plan. So
Thank you.
Okay, we've got two committees that I know are going to try to meet before the next monthly meeting, budget and personnel. That's just a heads up for the members of those committees. Your chairs will be contacting you. Okay, we've got nothing on the agenda for new business or old business. Anybody have any final thoughts? Happy New Year. Stay safe,
You
well, and
too.
warm. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
you too.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I
I'll make-
motion that we adjourn. Sorry.
I'll second it.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks very much, everybody. Thank you, Jean.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.